Good morning, and good morning. How are we doing? It is the Diamond Factor Experience Show. Yay! My name is Barbara Beckley, if you don't know me, and it is Friday. It is Friday, and I just want to say to all my Friday people, well, all my peoples, all my peoples. I just want to just say, let's just turn it up, turn it up, turn it up this Friday. And you know what? I want to also say, because I know we're not here till next Monday, but I want you to turn it up that day too, because a lot of times Mondays get a bad break. Mondays really get a bad break because it's the beginning of the week and everybody just seems like they're just like wore up and like, oh, they just beat me up over the weekend or whatever, or I got to start the whole week. So you know what? Let's start saying this is Friday, Monday, getting ready, and then when Monday gets here, you're just ready to roll, ready to roll. So I hope everybody's doing well today. I want to just let everybody know that you're going to see some change, some little changes within the show. I always got to shake it up a little bit so you don't have to get used to the same thing. Bring some people that's really going to give you some things that you're going to be like, wow, this is exciting. But, I always start off with a quote, but today I just have a statement. So last night a few months ago, I signed up to be part of this conference, this summit called the Comeback Champ. And when I first signed up, the thing that really, really resonated with me, that really, really pushed me was the name, Comeback Champ. So I'm going to be one of the speakers. There's a lot of other speakers going to be in the summit. And they had a panel discussion last night. They're having some of the speakers come on each week on the show that's over Ched Brown. He's over it, and he basically says, every week I want some of the speakers to come on and just talk about, how they came back in life and, what makes them motivated to move forward and, go for that, that be perseverant and all that kind of stuff. And I was on last night with four other wonderful lady queens, I call them. And I'm telling you, it was a late night too. It was at 10 o'clock my time. It was an hour and a half that we were on the show. But it didn't feel like I was tired because, again, the whole thing was about talking about perseverance. Don't let your stories of your life that get you down but move you forward. We're always talking about that here, about how your stories are so important. And what really resonated with me, he asked a question to each and every lady last night before we signed off and said, what do you think? What is your definition of the comeback champ? What is your definition of a comeback champ? So, some of the ladies said, well, it's resilience. You coming back just like a fighter in the ring and all that. And then it came to me and I said, my definition of a comeback champ is you are learning from your mistakes and you move forward. It's one thing to, get yourself knocked down and then stay in that position and say, oh, woe is me. I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can, make it happen again. I don't know if I can go for my goal because I got knocked down. But it's another thing to say, I got knocked down. Okay. And then you get up and you brush yourself off, like they say, and then you just keep moving. So I told him, I said, that's what I'm talking about. What a comeback champ is when you just keep on coming, keep learning the skills, keep adding to, and just be full of life. And I feel like every time you go back to that ring again, you got something else in store for that person or for that, specific thing that's going on in your life. So that's what I was telling them at the comeback champ. So I want everybody to think about today, what is the definition of a comeback champ to you? Everybody has their own definition. So just think about that in your life when you're going through, when you're pushing through and dealing with things and all, like I said, the earthquake and floods are all around you. What is the comeback champ in your life? What do you think the comeback champ is? So we're gonna talk more about that because I really love that whole statement, that concept, and just make you think just a little bit. And here we go. I'm getting some drums. I just decided right then and there, every time I hear this music, I'm going to learn how to be a drummer. First it was a guitarist, then it was a bass player. Now I'm getting some drums. So with that, we're going to go right into our awesome queen royalty, Miss Madeline. If you haven't listened to Miss Madeline on every Friday, your head is in the sand, and we need to get it out the sand because she has so many gifts and tips and skills to learn from. Remember, I was just talking about the comeback champ. She has came and came and came and came and came, and she's in that ring all the time, just so let's give her some skills, get some skills from the queen herself. I'm bringing her on right now, Miss Madeline.
Good morning, beauties. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I'm sorry, there's a little flare here in the glare. I tell you, I love listening to you, Barbara, every Friday morning. It's like, ooh, I get to see Barbara. And what she's saying is so true. Comeback champ. I love that. The comeback champ. You know, I have come back from a lot of things, and you probably have too, but you possibly are not aware that you have. There are a lot of things that create gaps in our lives, okay? We don't realize that we are closing these gaps when we come back from something, when we overcome something, when we heal from something, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, whether it is emotional, whether it is within ourselves, which it always is, or it's been prompted by something that's going on outside. We are always coming back from things. You know, I can remember stories of a friend who just lost everything. I mean, total bankrupt. They had everything that you could want in life. They were healthy. They had a family. They had loads and buku bucks, everything. They had good business. And then what happened in 2008? In 2008, there was the big drop in real estate, right? We had the big explosion of everything. Okay, I had to watch them go through the most difficult time when the man of the family was just about to sign a contract for an architectural job for the entire city. And then it didn't go through because of what happened. They were devastated. They were living in a phenomenal home. The kids were going to private schools. And what happened? Now they had to do what had to be done. Today, they have overcome it. They have overcome it by resilience, by perseverance, by being creative about what can I do. In fact, they just got back from a trip from Mexico with the whole family. Now, I'm not saying that they're totally back to where they were, but boy, they are ahead of many. And they're doing really well. How do you do that? How do you overcome and come back? Just like Barbara said, you have to learn new skills. When I stopped singing and went through depression, I finally had to get up and live. I went back to university. I had to learn new skills. I had to persevere, and I had to be resilient. Divas, you have the power within you to move forward on anything that you put your mind to. Don't expect anything from people. You've got tremendous support within Barbara's community, within this community, and anything that she's involved with. And me, of course, too. However, the basic is this: we are all on our own. We are in our heads. We are on our own in our heads, professionally, personally, emotionally. You know, we have a part in our head that is the amygdala. My friend CJ calls it Amy Gidala. And that's where all our emotions are. That's where we make a decision. That is where we are triggered. I want you to get over the emotion that keeps you back and scares you from being in a place that's unfamiliar. Learn a new skill. Guess what? It takes the first step. So those of you who know, my logo is a shoe, a big red high heel. It's a bold next step. I'm not saying that you come back overnight. I talked to someone yesterday for 30 years. She's been on a journey from the bottom, deep, deep, deep down in the deep ghetto, all the way to being a phenomenal speaker and an author. This is comeback. This is overcoming. This is being who you want to be. We take who we are, and then we say, who do we want to be tomorrow? How do we do that? The number one thing that I have learned in my lifetime is it's not so hard to move forward. It's difficult to let go. I'm going to say that again. I want you to write this down. It's not difficult to move forward. It is difficult to let go. We tend to hold on to what is comfortable. Hey, I do it too. You know, nobody is exempt, just like taxes. No one, well, I guess there's a few people who are exempt. But you know what I'm saying? It's just a matter of making a decision. Now, I have heard that so many times, very often. And at first I thought, well, yeah, you know, so tomorrow I decide I want that house. Doesn't happen that way. Sorry, I got a little tickle. Doesn't happen that way. You do decide on what you want, and then you take that first next step to where you want to go. What's the first step to getting that house? I'm just using that as an example. It could be anything. It could be a new job. Maybe you want to try to have a baby. Maybe you have had bad relationships in the past. Maybe you have healed from horrible trauma. Maybe you've got PTSD. Whatever it is, there's always a next step. Now, I am not a licensed therapist, so I won't go heavy into PTSD. I had a little bit of it myself. The very next thing that you do is in the direction of where you want to go, who you want to be. You come back. It's interesting because you go forward to come back as a champion. How did that person climb that mountain? One step at a time. Divas, you can take one step because that will lead to the next step. I know the first step is scary. That first step can be scary. Listen, years and years and years ago, when I had come back from Europe, I had to learn all about computers. So I took a class at night. Let me tell you, I was so frustrated. I didn't even know how to turn it on. Today, I write for Success Profile magazine. I am the comeback champion. I am the comeback diva. And so are you. And those of you who listen to me anywhere know that the diva is divine, intuitive, valuable, and able. Listen, we have our own choices and power to change the DNA that has been a part of who we are for Centuries. We all have ancestors we don't know about. How do we overcome? How do we come back? By moving forward. We have come back from being cavemen. How'd that happen? New skills. Somebody invented the wheel, right? You've got ideas. Doesn't have to be a wheel. We already have them. But it could be something else, something for you. Maybe as simple as, I've always wanted to bake those cookies and I could bring them to the school cookie sale. But what stops you? Something stops you. Something makes you feel stuck because something happened in your past where it didn't work out. Maybe you burnt a cookie. Maybe you didn't like the way they came out, or maybe you've just never done it and you're not believing in yourself. Belief is key. If you're going to be the comeback champion, you need to move forward. You need to move forward. You need to believe in yourself. What you believe about yourself is what you have. It's your environment. It's the people you're with. It's whatever you have and don't have. Time out. Sometimes what we do not have or what appears to be missing is there for our own good. It's there for us to learn something. It's maybe not there because we think we need it, but a higher power knows we don't. You may think that going left is it. Man, I'm going to be the comeback champion, girl. Left is for me. This diva's putting a red heel on, going left, and all of a sudden, you're pushed right. Lean into that. Lean into your intuition. The comeback champion is the person, that divine human entity who moves forward with that first next step. I'd like you all to just, wherever you are, if you're not driving, but not if you're driving, look down. Just look down. Where are you? What do you see? So me, like anyone, I see my feet. And where I am is exactly where I am. Not where I think I am in my head. In order to come back as a champion, as a goddess, as a superpower, heroess, diva, you have got to understand where you are. You have to accept everything. Accept the fact that, hey, Madeline, you didn't finish doing the office yet. Okay, things happened. That's fine. We're not here to mask our lives. We want the real deal. You want to be the comeback champion? You've got to move forward. I know that sounds odd, right? But the comeback champion, the comeback warrioress, the comeback diva, the comeback beauty, the comeback soul, you have the power to take that next step. Now, I understand that when we are not feeling well, or we are truly so scared that we're not able to take that first step, we get stuck or we feel stuck. And what happens? We start thinking and we go down the mental drain. That mental drain takes us down to, guess what? Nowhere. Sorry about that, guys. Nowhere. Takes us down to nowhere. I was doing some research this morning and I got hung up in some things. Anyway, the comeback champion is the person that will take the step into unfamiliar grounds. Because when you come back, you don't come back as who you were. You come back better. You come back better. Why would you want to come back as who you were? First of all, I know you're going to say, well, that felt so good. It was so comfortable. I knew what to do. I had everything taken care of. Hey, there are things we cannot control. We have choices, and those choices change every 10 seconds during our day. We have almost 80,000 thoughts a day. So our job is to sift out the negative, Pull in on the positive. Now, we're not talking Pollyanna because that is not my jam. Not talking Pollyanna. I'm talking about everything that makes you feel good. That's what I want you to hang on to. Everything that makes you feel good, as long as it's legal and moral. And I'm not talking about, taking things that are substances. What's good for you is right in the mirror. You are the comeback champion. You are the diva in your life. You are the amazing, most powerful entity on the earth. We are the only two-legged creatures who get to make choices. My choice for you is that you go off and have a fabulous weekend. Give yourself the understanding that you have value and that you are the comeback champion. Whether it's today, tomorrow, next week, just see that ahead of you. Go for it, because I know that you can do that. This is Madeline Faiella, and I just love you, divas. Back to you, Barbara.
Thank you, Madeline, Miss Madeline. As always, you always give those wonderful, wonderful tips. I see that you were just into that comeback champ because I know it's catchy. It's like this contagious thing going on. So after last night when I was on the panel, I was like, wow. I said, I'm really going to think about that. But like I said, the biggest lesson that I told everybody is like learning from what you have to come back from. Because I think like this, okay, if you're not learning from, if you're not moving forward, if you're not leveling yourself up, then what's the use of going through the different, challenges in life if you're not learning from them, right? I'm just saying. I mean, it's like, to me, it's like a waste of time. It's like, okay, I went through this and you'll keep going through it and going through it and don't learn anything from it. Something's wrong with that picture. So with that, we're going to go right into our next guest. Oh my God. We have somebody here. You talking about comeback champ. She is Miss Royalty in the house, And before that, I have to do her justice. First of all, she is the CEO of the Bradford Group, LLC. She is an international author of Amazon. She is an international, and I'm saying this, speaker. She is the awesomest, most, if you can't get your business together, she is the number one business strategist that you need to reach out to today. If you don't have your business in check, she will put it in check, and even check it even more to make sure that you're on that right path. I'm always talking about bring in people in your life that's going to help you grow. And LaWanna Bradford is that person. And she's also a true friend of mine. And also, she is, I'm telling you, she got all these hats. She is the visionary and co-founder of Celebrate You. And she is in the house today. So I'm going to do it before we bring her on. I got to do it right for her. So let's see here. What do I have? Here we go. LaWanna Bradford, welcome to the Diamond Factor Experience Show. How are
Thank
you
you.
doing?
Thank you. Good morning, Barbara. I'm doing well. Are you hearing me okay?
I'm hearing you wonderful. You look beautiful.
Thank you. Thanks for
So,
having me.
is it now what I know you're in Georgia, so what's the temp out there? I'm scared to ask, but I want to because I know what the temp here is where I'm at. So what's the temp out that way?
We're a lot warmer than you. It's 46 right now.
There's a heat wave for me. We are at
Heat wave.
all of a sudden I'm thinking of this. I'm 5 degrees. 5 degrees. Yes, I know. I know. So that's why. So when I hear other people where they're at, I'm like, okay, at least I can fantasize that I feel the heat or maybe somewhere in the vicinity in my mind to say, oh, that sounds so lovely and so nice and warm. But yeah,
The,
so I,
the coldest I've been was when I was in Korea, and it was 20 below. I was
ooh.
like, oh my God. And I got to tell you something. Can I just tell you a little funny about that? So I was there working, and it was so cold, and we had finished this project, and we were going back on base, and I'm like, I cannot walk in this cold. Let's get a taxi. So we get a taxi. They go to the front gate to let us in, and they would not admit the taxi. So the taxi had to go back around, drop us off where he picked us up, and we still had to walk in that frigid weather.
oh no, what? So you got warm for what? 1 minute? You was in and out.
In and I was like, get out.
Every time I hear that, I think of the Eddie Murphy thing. But but that's kind of sad. It's like that's like a tease, like get in the cab, you got to get out. I was like, really? I'm trying to get
I
cold.
know.
But yeah, so I want to get right into LaWanna. You've been coming on and you support me so much. And first of all, I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart that you have supported me in my business and in my personal life, giving me all the golden nuggets for me to move forward. And I always tell people, I know it's an old saying, but it's a true saying. You need to give the flowers when they're here and not when they're gone. So, I give you virtual flowers, virtual hearts to you from me because you are a star in my book. And I'm always like, I learned from LaWanna. Now, one thing about LaWanna, you talking about some ideas that pop up. Ooh, we can talk about that. Every time she's like, she'll text me or call me, Barbara, got an idea. This is what I'm thinking about. And I'm listening. I have a notebook. It has LaWanna notebook on it. I'm telling you, I'm serious. It's right here. This is my pad for LaWanna. Because every time she has a new idea, I got to get the notebook real quick and write it down. Because I'm not like I used to be where I could just remember stuff when I was younger. No, I need to write it down. And there's a lot of notes in here, a lot of notes in here, but some good ones. And that's why I was saying earlier that you need to, if your business and you're trying to figure out what to do, how to do it, and strategize and everything, give the listeners just a little background about you, lady.
A background about me. Well, I'm a 30-year serial entrepreneur. Started my first business, which was a brick and mortar licensed sporting apparel store eons ago. And since then, I've opened many businesses, multi-million dollar businesses. I currently have two. That one is the Bradford Group, which is a commercial and residential mortgage company, which you just saw the little pilot ad for. And then the Bradford Group Consulting, where we do business management consulting to help both big and small businesses strategically position for success. So we were primarily in the big business space. And I would say about 3 to 4 years ago, I thought, we have all of this experience, all of this knowledge. I've worked, from a global standpoint with literally billion-dollar corporations and organizations and with some of the top consulting firms. We need to take this knowledge and share it with small businesses because small businesses are the backbone to our economy, right? And many of them fail due to lack of knowledge, lack of resources. And so that's really where our push is now, is to just spread the wealth, spread the knowledge that we've been blessed to have gained over the years. And as you mentioned, I'm an author, speaker. I like to consider myself a consultant, and I think in that consulting lane, There is some coaching, but we are truly consultants and work in partnership with that small and or big business.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And you know what I like? I like how you always tell people about the, financial, like the checkup that we need to do financially. Can you go a little bit into that?
Yes. So in my background, I'm also a financial analyst as well as a certified strategic planner. And so with the financial component, I have a passion for people to get their financial house in order. And Barbara and I always talk about the financial crisis facing women. And it's not just due to this pandemic. The pandemic has actually exacerbated that situation. Where you look at when most women retire by the age of 65, their retirement income is less than $17,000 a year in the US. I mean, think about it. And so it makes you wonder when you look around to your left and your right and you see people who you think are doing well, there's a lot of pretense going around and people really are struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. The average person who lost their home last year lost it because they didn't have an extra $400 for emergency, those unexpected expenses. So, really both you and I mean, we've been on the Raw Talk show many times, just really trying to get women to wake up and be true to yourself, be true to what you have, what's facing you. Because once you accept that, it's not beating yourself up. It is what it is. Now, how do I move on? You said, how do I keep it moving? How do I move forward? How do I take what was a stumbling block and now turn it into a stepping stone for my financial success today and my financial security tomorrow?
Yes, definitely, definitely. I know we talked about it a lot, like you said on the show. And what really what amazed me was the facts that you brought up, where I think it was like 9% of women are prepared. When they when
7%.
it went down.
It's
Oh,
only
wow.
7%. Yeah, what Barbara's referring to is 7% of women feel, if you did a survey, 7% of women are comfortable today with where they'll be in retirement. Only 7%.
Okay, as everybody
A little
knows, okay,
frightening.
it's very frightening. And when you think of it, okay, let's take 100%, 100%, 7%. What's the bigger number here? Oh my God, it's like 93% of women that are not prepared. So, that's things that LaWanna helps, you look at, especially when it comes to mortgage and then looking at other things. So that's a great key. That's a great tool. And see, the thing that I always tell people, knowledge is powerful. Knowledge is powerful. So if you know the players like LaWanna and other people, myself, Madeline, the people that I bring on the show, we're here to help you, not just to sit there and tell you what we know. We're telling you what we know so you can know what we know and say, hey, maybe I need to talk to them. Maybe I need to get with them and be a client. And that's okay to do that. So LaWanna, the next thing, okay, we talked about the author. You're a speaker. Your Bradford group. And
Yeah, see,
now
my books are behind me,
I
shameless
love
plug
it.
there. There's no shame in my game.
Nope, 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 nope. I always tell people that I am about the exposure. Bring it on, bring it on. But the other thing is you're part of, you visionary and co-founder of Celebrate You. So you want to give a little bit
Yes.
of that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara. So Celebrate You is a platform that is designed to help women elevate to the highest version of themselves. So to do so unapologetically, to be comfortable in their truth, in their voice, because we feel that when a woman is truly able to love, embrace, and celebrate who she is, then she's able to elevate and change the life of her family, the community, the nation, and ultimately the world. And we look at it on 5 pillars: mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, and financially, because as we always say, it does take money.
So I know there's a big thing coming around the corner, and I'm going to play this, and then we can talk just a little bit about this.
Sure. the ending of that. I don't need any permission. I'm a
The
woman.
woman on a mission. Yeah, I was about to say that. I was about to see. We thinking. Yes, I
Yes.
was like, every time I hear that, I'm like, I love that part of it. So, Miss LaWanna, tell them about it because it is. Woo! It's one more day.
One more day. Yay. So we are in the final countdown for our Celebrate You Woman of the Year virtual gala in partnership with Barbara Beckley and our two other co-founders, Wynn Marshall and Jacqueline Lulu Brown. And what this is about is last year we knew, being the hardest hit year that we've ever experienced, any of us in our life, that there were women we noticed in April that were kind of raising that bar and doing something different and truly stepping outside of themselves to make life a little better for other people in their lives and business. And so in April, Barbara and I said, you know what, let's start celebrating a Woman of the Month. So we have 9 women from April through December 2020 who we are going to spotlight tomorrow as our nominees for the Woman of the Year, for the 2020 Woman of the Year. And these are women, as I said, who are making a difference, who are giving unselfishly, who are looking to pour in more than they're looking to receive, because we know giving and receiving is the same energy, and the more you give, it will just automatically flow to you. These are women who are truly participating within our community, helping to raise the bar. It's all about iron sharpening iron. We see them as leaders, influencers. And I am Barbara. I'm speaking for you, Barbara, right now. I are so honored to be among their genius. And so tomorrow, tickets are still available. In fact, it's so funny, Barbara. We had a set number of tickets that we were selling. Well, we exceeded that goal 3 times because I had to keep adding tickets to the Eventbrite. So I added more last night because I was getting calls. I'm trying to get in. I'm trying to buy my ticket. So we're so excited. It is going to be a packed house of men and women, because one of the things that I say is when women celebrate women, it's brilliant. But when men celebrate and elevate women, magic happens. So we have a great platform of women, men who are going to be judges, MCs. We've got the amazing 2-time Emmy Award winning Tony Saunders. We are so blessed that he is giving back to us in this way, and he will be performing for us. And, just speaking about the pandemic, if I may, Barbara, artists have been some of the hardest hit, among others, but our artists. And, think about it. They can't do any performances, live performances, concerts, etc. And so even in his state of, pause, like to call it pause right now, he saw the meaning and believes in the meaning so much of Celebrate You. Not only did he become a member, but he said he was willing to come back and perform for us during this very special event. So again, join to listen to him. We're going to share links of how people can get in touch with him and enjoy more of his music. But we are just so thrilled, so blessed. And we have Cyrus Webb. If you guys do not know who Cyrus Webb is, please Google him. Cyrus Webb is a major influencer, motivator. He is the interviewer, celebrity interviewer of the stars and most influential people. Cyrus is actually going for the Guinness Book of World Records this month. So we're just excited doing the most radio interviews. So he will be our head judge, and his company, Conversations Media Group, is one of our key sponsors. So we are just so blessed and privileged to have these individuals. And this is all about, Barbara, you and I talk about, as you journey through life, you're going to meet people. It's about building relationships and building the community. And these people they're not just casual. These are friends who we're growing and learning and supporting each other. And you never know when you may need to turn to your right and turn to your left and say, hey, can you give me a little support, and not feel guilty for asking, because they're going to be there for you just like you're going to be there for them. So I'm just excited about tomorrow. So get your ticket, $10. And you want to tell them, Barbara, about the charity?
Yes, the charity. You know what? Instead of me telling about it, I think I'm going to, let's see what I have here, because I always have something in the wings. So give me a check second here. They just came in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm going to.
These are only $10, and 100% of proceeds go to Help Heal Humanity charity. 100% of the proceeds.
Yeah, so let's talk about this charity here for a minute.
Dominican. Her name is Serena Buffalino. They call her Mrs. B, and her class always begins with a pledge.
Something local, something global. Haiti.
They're words that carry
Yes.
weight here. Helping yourself means helping others, giving back, here and a world away in Haiti.
And nobody's helping them except for people like us.
It was through her the class learned of Haiti, of the nearly 1 million orphans, many with no school, no support, no Mrs. B in their lives.
They could not wrap their head around that.
Mrs. B's students are among Toronto's most at risk. Their challenges vary from emotional and behavioral difficulties to learning disabilities. Their trauma so severe they can't function in a regular school setting, and we aren't allowed to show most of their classmates.
For most of the kids, most of society has turned them away. And in this classroom, they're accepted. They're accepted no matter what for who they are.
Take Yolanda. She came here last year so burdened and withdrawn, she would often fall silent, sometimes for days on end. It was, she says, Mrs. B's patience, her quiet encouragement, that saved her.
She actually saves people's lives from dangers.
And perhaps that's why these marginalized kids feel such a kinship with the orphans of Haiti, and why they were moved to act.
And so when Yolanda and Jackie and Patrick said, well, Miss B, we need to build them a school.
Build a school, no easy task. They started out raising money. They sold samosas, washed cars, screened movies, you name it. And in just a few months, this little class raised $20,000. So much, it's not just a one-room schoolhouse they can build, but a full 3-story school. And so Mrs. B set off on a journey she'd dreamed of, up into the dusty mountains above Port-au-Prince to a town called Canaan. It's home to thousands of earthquake refugees who live with no running water, no electricity, and no school, until now. The first step was a temporary school. It's up and running, 53 students already in uniform. The permanent school for 250 is growing from its foundations.
It makes me want to cry because she just makes me feel so awed, and I'm very proud of her.
All of this because of a handful of students back in Canada and Mrs. B, the teacher who believed in them.
These are for you.
At another fundraiser, a special tribute to the students, accepted by someone who, without Mrs. B, might not be here.
They believe in me and I believe in them, and together we not only change our lives, but we change the world around us.
For inspiring great things and seeing the potential in everyone, Serena Buffalino is this week's Everyday Hero.
Awesome. So yeah, just a little take from that. I thought it'd be best just to have the person that is coming, Serena. Awesome lady, awesome. And I'm so glad that we can take this gala and take the proceeds that's coming from it to give to help heal humanity. Now, LaWanna, before we sign off, because of time, I want you just to leave like in maybe 60 seconds, something for the listener, because I know you have that wisdom that you always give me. So I want you to just give some to the listeners, and I want to take myself down.
Okay. Thank you again to those of you who are tuning in. Thank you, Barbara, for having me. And one thing that I read about a year and a half ago was a statement that said, if you are unable to celebrate yourself, don't look around and expect the world to applaud you. I want you to just sit in that for a moment. Because oftentimes we are busy wondering, why aren't people celebrating me? Why aren't people lifting me up? Well, the first question is, what are you doing for you? Are you loving and celebrating your life so much that your voice, your affirmation of who you are is enough? Your acknowledgement of who God says you are is enough. And then the echoes that will ripple from the world are just that. They're just echoes of your truth, echoes of your genius in action. So I just encourage you as you go day to day, no matter what happens in life, because there's always going to be ebbs and flows. There are going to be those stumbling blocks that try to trip you up, cause you to fall down, but just look at them as stepping stones. And with every obstacle, just celebrate that you have yet strength in your body to get up, to see the opportunity to rise, and celebrate and embrace this day, because life is happening now. So choose the now, embrace the now, love the now, and celebrate you.
There's nothing else to say on that. Nothing else to say. All I can say is, LaWanna, thank you for being the queen that you are. Thank you for coming on the show. And again, like she said, buy those tickets. It's tomorrow. So you can celebrate with all these wonderful women, and also at the same time giving to a wonderful charity to help the world heal. Thank you, LaWanna, for coming on today. I truly appreciate you.
Much love, much love. Thank you.
I told you Miss Queen was in the house. See, I mean, it only gets better. It only gets better. So again, I'm going to put this real quickly just to make sure that if you can still buy a ticket for tomorrow, it's like, okay, just to make sure that you see it. It is, we're going to be celebrating Women of the Year for 2020. And the tickets are just $10. They will be on sale up to the day, and that's tomorrow, up to the day. So there's no reason to say, I couldn't get in, or I couldn't buy a ticket, or it's too late. Nope, it's not too late. It's not too late. But I'm telling you though, we have been increasing in numbers over and over and over again. And it's just wild. I was like, wow, this is like, oh my God, people are really, really taking hold of this. And like we said before, it's really helping a need out there. And I think that's the biggest thing of everything. You know, we celebrate ourselves, but it's so nice just to make sure, just put, like I always say, to put that little warm and fuzzy in you to say that you can help another person in need and get them to the next level. Not so much just always thinking about ourselves. So with that said, you know what I'm going to do? I always say, what do I always say? PPD, your purpose, your passion, and your drive. That's in you. That's the foundation, I call it, to move you, to propel you in whatever you do. What I always say, when the earthquakes and the hurricanes and the pandemic, we got to add that to it, and all other kind of stuff is just rolling all over the place. What do we do right here? That's your peace. You know your purpose. You know who you are. You know that passion that just it's like a flame in you all the time. And then that drive. Those are the challenges. Those are the stories. That is your drive to move you to the next level. And not just to move you in your life, but also to help move others. So they need your genius. They need your talent, because it's so awesome and amazing. And we need you to make sure that you are moving in that realm. With that said, I will see you out on Monday, where we're bringing back Iqbal, and I have a special guest. And I just say it like that because, I like to keep you in suspense. With that said, have a wonderful weekend, and always, always shine like that diamond.